What it do, peeps? It's the Beat Chef with Watch the Damn Tape. Next, we're going to get into those moves that the Indiana Fever made for 2025. Welcome to Watch the Damn Tape. I'm the Beat Chef. Hit that like, share that subscribe button, hit that bell to get notified when I drop my next video. New subscribers, welcome. Old subscribers, thank you for pushing me to make this content. Now let's get into those trades and those acquisitions by the Indiana Fever. There was a lot of moving pieces, and it's only been a week, but it was a lot of trades, that had got started before the trade. Before the opening of their season officially started, but they were final on February 1st. But the Indiana Fever were very active, did a 4-team trade, really improved their team, got rid of a lot of headaches. Number one, Nalissa Smith. Shot her down there to Dallas. Connecticut shot DeJounte Carrington, so that couple can be together in Dallas. But in return, they got Jaylen Brown and they got Sophie Cunningham. They also added Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner. Just off of what transpired since February 1st, the number one signing was Kelsey Mitchell. Re-signing Kelsey Mitchell to be Caitlin Clark's backcourt mate was the number one thing in my book. I mean, as the season went on, especially after the All-Star break and the Olympic break, the cohesiveness that they had together, playing together, I mean, it was real nice. It was, like I said, it was like Mitch Richmond and Tim Hardaway with Golden State. All they need is that Chris Mullin on the team. That they need that run TMC like Golden State. And I think they'll eventually get it. I don't think they're going to get it quite this year with the group that they got. I like the moves that they made. They went for veterans. So to me, it looks like this team is like a stopgap. They're going to put Caitlin with some players that got some stature in the league. Most of them have won championships. A lot of them got tenure in the league. I mean, except for like Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's young, and hopefully they can develop her and get something out of her. But as far as DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard, Natasha Howard's been a Defensive Player of the Year. She's won multiple championships. DeWanna Bonner's won multiple championships. Sydney Colson has won multiple championships. And Caitlin plays about 30 minutes a game. Sydney Colson's going to slide right in there nice and be able to spell her. Even if it's more than 10 minutes. Sydney Colson will have no problem running the offense and keeping everything up at a high level. I like them bringing in a veteran point guard. The things I don't like about this trade, their ages. Sydney Colson's 35. She'll be 36 in the season. DeWanna Bonner is 37. She'll turn 38. Natasha Howard's 33. She'll turn 34. Out of the acquisitions, the one I like the most besides signing your own, which is Kelsey Mitchell, is bringing in Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham's 28. She'll be 29. When Sophie Cunningham started significant minutes, like in 2022, she averaged 29 minutes a game. She scored 12 points. The next season, 2023, she started 31 games. She averaged 11 points. She had a down year. The whole team, the whole Phoenix Fever team had a down year last year. She started 21 games. She only averaged 8.4. But Sophie can play at least 3 spots, and she provides a wealth of defense, and she's scrappy. And she's one of those feisty, I'll get in your face people. Caitlin Clark needed a person to play that thug role on this team, and Sophie Cunningham is that person. And also with playing that role, you have to be able to score. I mean, it's one thing to be a protector of the star player, but you have to be able to contribute on offense. Most of the time, the rough one is a defensive-minded person, but Sophie can get it on both ends of the court. I like this acquisition the most out of everybody, even over Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner. I do like the Natasha Howard, because Natasha Howard can still run and get a bucket. But this season they're playing a little longer season, and the playoffs will be 7 games. Uh, it'll be pushing to 7 games, and that first round series is going to be 5 games, I believe, not 3. So these ladies are going to be playing a lot more games. And if you watched the finals last year between Minnesota and New York, you can see the fatigue on them in the games, especially in games 4 and 5. It was hard to watch at times. So if you've watched Unrivaled, I've watched every Unrivaled game. I'm seeing the same things in Unrivaled, and Unrivaled is like training camp. So these miles and minutes, even though they're playing 7-minute games, 7-minute quarters in Unrivaled, it's still wear and tear regardless. So it's going to be interesting to see how Natasha Howard plays. And Natasha Howard's playing overseas. Sydney Colson's playing in the Athletes Unlimited League. So it's going to be interesting to see how they perform down the stretch. Also, some key dates. The draft is on April 14th. Training camp begins April 27th. April 27th. May 16th is when the regular season starts. There's not a lot of time for these ladies to gel. So they're going to have to get into Indiana and start working like now, and try to do some stuff on their own to gel. It's going to be hard for them to do a 19 or so day training camp and a few regular free preseason games, and then kick off into the regular season. The pick, the person that signed that I'm least happy about, and I know a lot of people are happy about it, is DeWanna Bonner. And it's for a number of reasons. One, her age. She's one of the older players in the league. She can flat out ball. Basically around a 15-point, 16-point career score. She can get it at both ends. She can play multiple positions, and she can cause matchup nightmares because of her height and her long arms. She's like a good grief. Her wingspan is it's outrageous. It's enormous. Last year they had the girlfriend drama with Nalissa Smith and Dejanay Carrington, and I didn't like the way that played out during the season. You got rid of Nalissa Smith, and you got DeWanna Bonner, who's a more talented player, but basically brings the exact same drama and locker room headache that could potentially go end up down the road. I hope not. I hope it doesn't come to that. But when Alyssa Thomas is your fiance, and Alyssa Thomas sits at a podium and says that Indiana Fever fans are racist, and you're her partner, it almost sheds the same light that Alyssa Thomas put on herself on you. And in my opinion, Alyssa Thomas wasn't going at Indiana Fever fans. I believe Alyssa Thomas was using Fever fans to go at Caitlin Clark. She got Caitlin Clark out of the playoffs, and she wanted to take a shot at Caitlin Clark, but she wanted to do it through the fans. She didn't want to necessarily just come right out and say, I'm going at Caitlin Clark. I'm just going to go at the fans, which by product, she's going at Caitlin Clark. So just to bring that dynamic back into the locker room, and I've noticed, I can tell there's a lot of stuff going on with Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner. Ever since it was time to sign with teams, Alyssa Thomas has been AWOL playing. She hasn't played in probably like the last three games with the Laces in Unrivaled. That kind of coincides with the free agent period and heading up to the free agent period, or when the trades could be when the official league year started on February 1st. So I see some stuff going on in the background, and then the stuff on Twitter where she was going at people, and she was really going at one person. I've seen a lot of uh, other shows covering DeWanna Bonner getting attacked by fans. It was really one person, and it seemed like it was a person she knew. She was saying, "You could have DM'd me and basically told me this and that." And so I didn't even want to report on that. Didn't even make a big video on that because I knew it was BS, and there was more to it. But the Alyssa Thomas in Phoenix. DeWanna Bonner started her career in Phoenix, and you don't sign with Phoenix and you sign with Indiana. It tells me it might be some stuff at home that is brewing. They got two small children from a previous relationship that DeWanna Bonner had. It's a lot going on, and now you've brought that into your locker room, and I just don't like that. I don't like that. I would have rather you got Jaylen Brown. She's young. You got Sophie Cunningham. She's still in the prime of her career. You got a young Caitlin Clark. Draft another youngster or move some pieces around to get a draft pick. I've watched Unrivaled for a couple weeks. There's at least 30 girls in college right now that could replace 30 of the women that are playing in Unrivaled, which means you could replace 30 of the women that are playing in the WNBA. So I get it. The WNBA is a gatekeeper league. They don't like to leave when there's their time, but by the time you hit 33, 35 going into that range, you're on the decline. Limited minutes. You playing high limits, high minutes at upper 35 and up. Man, it's rough on the body, especially as they add more games. You're gonna want to have all your pieces on the court to help Caitlin Clark. When Caitlin Clark gets to running and gunning, you're gonna want somebody that's playing with Caitlin Clark that can run and gun with her. And I'd rather see some younger players, at least if you're in middle age or in your 20s, at least 26, 27, 28, around that range. If you're a veteran and you can hoop with Caitlin Clark. I think these moves were a bridge to show that, hey, there will be people that will want to play with Caitlin Clark. There's people that are not afraid of Indiana. The funny thing is you haven't heard anything about racism or anything from any of these players that signed. That's the one thing I know. All that stuff was blown out of proportion. Nothing. You haven't heard Natasha Howard say she's been attacked on Twitter. You haven't seen Sydney Colson attacked on Twitter. If you've seen anything, you've seen people address certain things that they said in the past or did in the past to or about Caitlin Clark. That's it. And that's something you're going to have to deal with. I'm sorry. You can't tell a fan base that they're racist at a press conference after you beat them, and then other people around the league start jumping on the bandwagon and think it's going to go away that easy. It's not. It's just not. But I'd love to know what you guys think about the acquisitions. Hopefully the DeWanna Bonner thing doesn't come to fruition, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. I just wanted to let you guys know that that's basically my biggest thing with it. As far as hooping, she can hoop. She can ball out. Everything. I mean, complete game. Almost like a older version of Napisa Collier. That's basically what DeWanna Bonner is. An older version of Napisa Collier. But other than that, I mean, all the moves were solid. It's going to be, hopefully they gel quick. That's the thing. How quickly can the Fever gel? Because right now, I mean, they finished the 6th seed in the regular season standings last year. They can move up to in the top 4 easily because the Connecticut Sun are going to take a step back. The Aces are going to take a step back. Phoenix is going to take a step back. And so Indiana is primed and ready to get into those upper spots with Minnesota and New York, who are still, on paper to me, better than Indiana. That's just my opinion. I'd love to hear what you guys think about that as well. Where do you think Indiana ranks amongst the league? Because they play Eastern and Western conferences, but when it comes to the playoffs, it's the 8 seeds. It don't matter where you where you are in conference. Until they get some more teams and they can split it down the middle like the NBA, it's going to be this seeding thing. But they should be in the top four, in my opinion, going into the playoffs. But I'd like to know what you guys think about the acquisitions. I'd like to know how you think they're going to gel, and where do you think they're going to finish when the regular season ends. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and until next time, folks, peace.